We're going to bring up our next group, Roli. This is Roland Lamb, who will be presenting for us. And this is an integrated hardware and software solution. Very excited. 5 minutes. It will begin when you start.
Thank you. One problem in the music industry right now is a growing divide between acoustic and digital modes of music production. Acoustic instruments are very expressive, but they're limited in their range, whereas digital production allows limitless possibilities, but is rarely as usable or intuitive as acoustic solutions. The Seaboard is a new musical instrument that bridges this gap. It allows unprecedented real-time control of pitch, timbre, and volume on a note-by-note basis. But obviously that's a mouthful. So I'd like to show you a short video which will give you more of a felt sense of what the Seaboard is all about. So, thank you. So we just put that video up a week ago, and we've been really overwhelmed by the response we've received from people wanting to order the Seaboard and from artists from all around the world reaching out to us. We've actually extensively road tested the Seaboard. We've done a lot of user trials, and the responses from the artists who've actually tested it out and used it has been great, as you can see. We've also received a lot of interest from the industry, and we've been having conversations with people across our whole supply chain. And a lot of our potential partners are very interested in the long-term commercial potential of the Seaboard. Just in the last week, we've been getting great help from the media in telling our story about the potential of this new instrument. And just today, Engadget named us one of the 2 coolest products here at South by Southwest, along with Leap Motion, which was a real honor. And we're getting a lot of discussion online about the Seaboard, and there's a very interesting debate about it, and we think that's a good thing because it shows that the innovation is disruptive. Just go back a little bit. We'll go on to the market slide. So basically, there's a big market for the Seaboard. Music production industry is $14 billion per annum, but we're focused right now on the synth and controller segment of keyboard-related tech. And we are looking to achieve a 15% market share within 3 years with a Seaboard. But beyond that, there are applications in other parts of the music industry. And because the Seaboard is based on the piano, which is a loved instrument played all around the world, our market is global, and this map shows places where we've already received orders for Seaboards. So our plan is to ship a limited edition of a Seaboard Grand this summer. And we're going to make 88 of these to go out to our ambassadors and first people to kind of build a community around the instrument. That will prepare us to build a mass market Seaboard Pro next year. The C interface is our disruptive platform patent-pending technology, which we use to build the Seaboard. And what it allows us to do is to produce any kind of form factor or shape for highly information-rich, pressure-sensitive devices. And the Seaboard will be our demonstrator of that. But then we will be able to use the high-profile demonstration of the Seaboard to place that technology into more mass-market formats, as well as to pursue the potential for initiator products with the maker and hacker kind of communities, where they can take this technology and apply it to things that we haven't even thought of. And all of this and the kind of potential for third-party licensing allows us to cross the chasm with this technology, where our demonstrator products and our disseminator products will allow us to achieve the commercial potential of the Seaboard and the C interface. We have a really strong team with the skills and the experience and the passion to deliver, including a former vice president of Pandora and luminaries such as Jordan Rudess and Ron Arad. So thank you very much, and I'd like to answer any questions you might have.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Good job.
Super cool. As I said before, I think that is it's remarkable that you took your passion and built a new instrument. As an artist, are you impressed, Aaron?
I'd love to feel it first. I mean, I think that's the thing I get from that video the most is like, what does that feel like? There's a part of me that's like, ooh, that might feel icky, but it might not. So my first question is, what does it feel like as a musician? As someone who works with both acoustic instruments and digital technology, I'm definitely interested in it. And I assume that it's just a controller. Is that right?
Actually, no. It's going to have sounds built in because it is a MIDI controller, and you can then use it with all of your existing gear. But there's obviously compatibility issues when you try to build new controllers and retrofitting them. So we thought it was really important to build sounds in, and it's so sensitive and it can do so much that you can't do with MIDI. That's just not possible, even with many, many MIDI channels. So we actually have its own sound engine built in where you can realize its full expressive capacity. But to answer your first question, it feels completely different to anything else. And it is something that a lot of people really love, and some people are like, that's too weird, and so it kind of splits people. But generally, because it's so good musically, people get really excited about it, and it feels quite organic and interesting and different.
Are there some instruments that work better than others in terms of its control and feel?
Yeah, there are different sounds that work better than others. But it's extremely versatile, and as you could hear there was like an acoustic bass sound, which is good, but just as well you can put like a wind sound or a string sound. Because it both is able to bend the pitch, but also is able to have dynamic range, you can get the effect of a huge range of different kinds of instruments, and then you can apply all of that range to like synthesis and to other kinds of new ways of controlling sound.
I have one more quick question, which is, can I use that? Could I use it in a more traditional piano fashion? Does the controller allow me to do that so that I don't have to bring that on the road plus the keyboard I'm already using?
Absolutely. You can get about 95% or more of your piano technique back on the Seaboard, and if you practice it, even more than that. I mean, there are certain kinds of things, like playing a montuno, which so much based on the weighting of the keys on a piano where you would want to use a piano. And we're not trying to replace the piano. I'm a piano player. I love the piano. But it definitely can achieve a lot of what the piano keyboard is able to do.
Just from a logistical standpoint, is this a fragile instrument? How much does it weigh for touring?
It's extremely thin, so it weighs less than keyboards of the same size. And it is not particularly fragile, and it's actually more road robust. Like, for example, if everyone who sees the Seaboards, like musicians, they're like, wow, I can have a beer there, and it'll be fine. So it does actually have more protection than a lot of other instruments.
So it will be fine if I spill my beer on it?
Well, it's not recommended.
So my sister was a concert pianist. I'm not a musician. She was a concert pianist. She was very particular about, like, I just look at that and I think she would never touch that, right? Like, she has a very particular kind of thing that she is used to and that she wants. Like, who? This is clearly not aimed at classical pianists. Like, who is this aimed at, or is it?
Well, it's interesting. I mean, it's not particularly aimed. It's not aimed at those, but we do have a young woman from the Royal College of Music who's doing a PhD in piano performance, and she plays beautifully on the Seaboard. And actually, we're going to be releasing some videos of her performances soon. I'd say we're focused on performers and producers and music production, and those are sort of two segments, and eventually we'll have different offerings for those different segments. But I think that independent music, improvised music, cutting edge music, jazz, pop, rock, those are all areas where we're getting a lot of interest, and classical might take a little bit longer.
Yeah, I think it might, yeah.
In terms of the signature product, the Seaboard,
yeah.
What's the cost structure like, and what's the proposed pricing, or what are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, that's a good question. The basic cost structure is that once we ramp up to mass manufacture, we should be able to basically compete below keyboard cogs at the same kind of like key sizes, which means that we can compete really well in the keyboard market, and our offerings will track around the price of similar keyboard offerings. The Seaboard Grand is a limited edition. There's only going to be 88, and it's going to be very expensive because we've put a lot into that development, and we need to kind of build a community. It's also a premium product. It's like made of milled aluminum and has like all the best kind of materials. And because there's only 88, we're making them by hand.
It's a concept.
Yeah.
I wanted to just go back to the question Aaron asked on the piano. Is there a piano sound in it? So I think you were asking, do I need to bring my piano on the road also?
Yeah, because if I'm understanding, it's not a controller. It has sounds built in.
But it's also a controller.
It can be a controller,
yeah.
okay.
So you can hook it up to any kind of like MIDI, Logic, Pro Tools, whatever piano sound you have, and play through that. But I mean, I think that
It doesn't ship with a piano sound per se.
I don't think it's going to ship with a pure piano sound because based on all these road tests we've done, I think it's the least important sound for the Seaboard, because I think if you want to play a piano sound, then it's better to play an actual piano.
But Aaron's bringing up a really good point, which is maybe she wants both as a touring artist. It would make, that might be a really valuable.
Yeah.
I think it's a great piece of feedback.
Definitely. One of the nice things about the software is that it's going to allow you to upload your own sounds to the instrument. So you could, for example, if you were a touring artist and you said, like, I love the Seaboard, but I want to be able to play these 12 tracks on tour, you could actually upload the 12 sounds from your own setup into the hardware and then just audio out. So you could put a piano sound on it, but it's not going to be one of the primary sounds that we kind of recommend as a factory preset.
And it wouldn't be as fully controllable to the extent of the spectrum as you're saying that the sounds built for the Seaboard are.
Yeah, I mean, once you play the Seaboard and you try it as a piano, you can do it, and we can demo that. But it's about the least interesting thing the Seaboard can do.
And how many sounds is it going to ship with?
It's actually going to ship with, it just has one dial on it, which has a kind of spectrum of sound. And they're organized around 12 points, like a clock. So you can know, like at 1 o'clock or at 3 o'clock or at 6 o'clock, I have a particular sound that I want to find. But then it will morph between those sounds. So it's somewhere between 12 and infinity.
Can you talk just briefly about the state of the business? How are you capitalized? What represents success to you going forward? We've $100 million in R&D here, or what's the?
No, we've raised about $2 million in seed capital, and we're going to do a Series A this year. And we've also received numerous grants. We're based in London. We received numerous grants from the UK government to help us with this innovative product. And I think that we're going to do a fairly big Series A this year, which is going to help us to focus on that mass market opportunity and really to expedite our mass market entry.
So, I asked this before, I'm going to ask it again. Software or hardware? Your company, you raise money, you're not going to have infinity money. You're going to have a certain amount of money. You're going to have to decide, here's where we're going to put our investment. What are you?
Definitely hardware. Hardware is where our comparative advantage is. We also build software to make sure that we ensure compatibility for our products. But it's definitely about hardware, and also our IP situation is mostly in our hardware and our firmware. So that's kind of where we really have a lot of leverage in the market.
And what do you have that keeps somebody else from doing this? Somebody else being a big company.
Absolutely. Well, partly we have a first mover advantage because we're out there and we're building a brand around it, and we have an IP portfolio to support that. And part of the mission with these 88 Seaboards is to really get the right ambassadors involved, because getting the right important musicians to use our instrument will make a real difference in terms of how other competitors will see the opportunity to try to infringe on our territory. So we made a list of the top 10 musicians in the world who we really wanted to be able to kind of take this out for us, and we're in touch with 6 of them now, just on the basis of kind of bringing it out.
I think it's super. I think it's a super cool, device that you've created. I just hope that from a financial standpoint, you guys can sustain, and that you're not, and don't end up being the, what was it from the '80s, the keyboard sort of guitar.
The guitar,
thing.
yeah.
But the guitar, right? But I definitely think that. I mean, I just from an artist perspective, I'd love to put my hands on it. And
Thanks.
Yeah.
Maybe I can take you out with one last little video that could be done in the remaining time.
You got 30 seconds. I'm going to stop it.
Do it.
We'll have fun.
That's infinity.
Can you split the keyboard? You have two sounds going at once.
Oh, that's very good timing. You're welcome. And that's 10 minutes. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Good luck.